Hello, I'm Doran Ellen Dotan in Sfat in Israel. I'm addressing this video to Jewish women outside of Israel who know Hebrew well and who are familiar with the Torah and in Hebrew. We need your help. This video was made hours after Shabbat went out, after Shabbat in Israel. It won't be published until Shabbat has gone out in all of the different time zones. I'll wait full 12 hours until after Shabbat went out here. The COVID scenario was created to the purpose of bringing us into total submission, frightening us so that we might submit to receiving vaccinations that we might not ordinarily receive. Netanyahu was even talking about putting electronic chashayim, what do you call it, electronic gadgets on the kids. Bill Gates is talking about bringing in all kinds of very extreme means, including vaccinations and implanting us with chips and so forth and so on, all to the purpose of keeping us safe and well, of course. The plan to bring humanity under total control has been in the works for I don't know, about 3,000 years. Now they think that they have the technology to be able to do it. And they probably do have the technology to be able to do it if we Jewish women are not able to do what Torah intends us to do, and that is to get full control over all of the laws of nature and to be able to determine the properties, the qualities, the behaviors of matter. I made a video a little bit earlier, which is in response to Rav Amnon Yitzchak's video, in which he translated Agenda 21 into Hebrew so that the Israeli public might know what is in the works for us. We Jews had the experience of trying to go up against the Roman Empire. The results were catastrophic. There were many, many deaths of Jews, and most of the remaining Jews were sent in chains into slavery in the diaspora. From that experience, we should learn that so long as we are creating a golem ourselves, we cannot go up against it. If we learn Torah incorrectly and pronounce lies in the name of Hashem, the sound waves from our voices create a fabric of reality that is a lie. All of the materials in that world are obdurate and inert to moral signals, so that the only signals of attraction and repulsion are morally neutral. They are electronic, but they are devoid of all moral content. That being the case, they can be used against us. They can be used in any way. It is not the normal state of affairs that matter is morally neutral. It should respond positively and in a supportive kind of a way to the moral signals that we send out, and it should repulse any non-moral signals that it receives from our bodies or from our voices if we approach matter for immoral purposes. The knowledge of how to create matter intentionally and how to to institute holy natural laws was lost throughout the whole rabbinic era. And that is precisely why the whole rabbinic era is characterized by the Jewish people being under foreign rule, which is backed up by threat of arms. There were well-meaning Kanaim, there were well-meaning zealots. During the Bar Kokhba rebellion, who meant well for Israel, and they meant to go up against Rome for all the right reasons, but they failed, and they failed miserably. And for the next 2,000 years, we were lost in diaspora. If we try to go up against the people who are planning the New World Order, the same thing will happen. They do not care how many of us die. They have said again and again and again that from their point of view, they would like to see the population reduced. Their perfect plan involves a human population of only about 500 million people. So no matter how many of us they would kill in an uprising, that would just be to their benefit. And we would not win. We would not win going up against the UN forces any more than we won going up against the Roman forces, and for precisely the same reasons. Because we ourselves are creating the conditions under which they can enslave us. We cannot shovel the driveway so long as the snow machine is blowing snow on it. And this is precisely what we're doing. Because we are pronouncing lies in the name of Hashem, and we are saying that because the men principally are pronouncing lies in the name of Hashem and learning the Babylonian Talmud and saying that that is Torah Sheba'al Peh, they are creating the conditions in which we are living. They are distorting the entire fabric of phenomenal reality. If they do not understand and represent and live according to Torah law correctly, they will necessarily also create distorted natural laws. That is what is happening now. The laws of nature and matter itself are predisposed against us. Not only, they're not even neutral, they're actually predisposed against us. Greater than the power of Jewish men is the power of Jewish women. It devolves upon us to learn Torah correctly, such that we create a beautiful, phenomenal world. The same knowledge that is required to create a baby in the womb is the very self-same knowledge that is needed to create any reality. If a woman can create a baby, she can create anything, but we must know how to do it. In the womb, most of us grow the baby without being aware of what we're doing and how we're doing it. In the Hebrew Torah, specifically throughout the entire Torah, but very specifically within Sefer Bamidbar, are all of the instructions of how to create phenomenal reality in accordance with God's will. And the ability to do that of Jewish women is orders of magnitude greater than the ability of Jewish men. So even if the Jewish men are learning Babylonian Talmud, Jewish women can override their directives to the creation by learning Tanakh, most specifically Chumash, correctly. I made a Hebrew video in response to Rabbi Amnon Yitzchak's warning to Israel about Agenda 21 coming. He translated the program of the UN called Agenda 21 into Hebrew and sent out a warning. In response to his video, right after Shabbat goes out, there will be it goes out all over the world. That means it's already out here. When I made it, it was already over. I wouldn't make it on Shabbat. Will be the exact instructions of how to read Sefer Bamidbar such that we can begin to create matter that will override and supplant and erase matter that exists such as it is now. And Jewish women can do that. I do that. Individually, I had not a small amount of success in holding back many of the effects of what was supposed to be in that plague. It was supposed to be much, much worse. What they wanted from Pesach to Atzeret was specifically a redo of what happened to Talmidei Rabbi Akiva. This is what they wanted, but adjusted to the modern day population. So per capita, it was supposed to be an absolute disaster. It was supposed to be a plague. I was able to hold that back, thank God. But I'm one person who has this knowledge. I can create a sterile field around myself, and I can prevent some of the effects, but I need the help of the rest of Israel. It's not meant to be one person who does this. It's meant to be many, many women who do this. The men too, but if the men are dead set against doing the right thing and insist upon learning Talmud, and this was the reason why Hashem closed down the B'tei Midrash, so there would be less men reinforcing one another's voice waves to create these distortions. Now is our window of opportunity. If we go to Hashem directly and ask Hashem to show us the ancient wisdom of how to really learn Torah, which is 611, which is At Hara, At Hara. we can override the directives of the men. And right now, Babylon overlies Eretz Yisrael. It's like a thick calculus of virtual reality over Eretz Yisrael, which is Torah reality, which is the reality that Hashem wants for us. We Jewish women who can learn Torah in Hebrew can override that. And so my request to Jewish women who know Hebrew, because this cannot be done in English, is to learn specifically Parashat HaMidbar. Please listen to my video response in Hebrew to Rabbi Amnon Yitzchak. That will be the basis of your learning too. And then go and begin to learn it, and learn it with a pure heart, so that we nullify the physical world that the rabbis have instituted that works against us. We have to fight back, but we have to fight back in peace. Because if, God forbid, we try to fight back using matter such as it is, we only reinforce it, and we will lose again. It will be worse than it was when we were driven into exile. That's not the way. The way is to nullify anything that isn't Torah reality. And women are more able to do this than the men. And so I turn to you specifically to do it. If one woman alone was able to hold back a lot of what was planned in that plague, imagine what 10 Jewish women all over the world would be able to do, 100. It keeps multiplying. It's not even exponential. It's not even trigonometric. It's greater than that. Every woman who joins forces to learn Hebrew correctly strengthens one another astronomically. And we can do this. The way to fight back is by learning Torah correctly. I'm not nullifying the political actions that are being taken and the social actions that are being taken, but that is the realm of what the Gentiles are meant to do, and they are doing their jobs well and nobly and very, very bravely. But it is not for the Jews to fight in that same arena. Our arena is different. Ele berechev ve'ele besusim v'anachnu b'shem Hashem naskir. This is the way we fight our wars. B'shem Hashem. And so I ask you please to ask Hashem to open up your eyes, to be able to see the ancient wisdom, to be able to understand Torah correctly, and start creating Torah reality. Thank you for listening.